Hey guys, so this video is about Portland and the stonemason conspiracy. Here we go. So, this first picture we're looking at is the Portland stonemasons. I'm sure they're fine standing members of society and they wouldn't keep any secrets from us, would they? No, of course they wouldn't. So, okay, some little known facts about Portland for you that you probably might not know. Portland has more Masonic lodges per square mile than the City of London. It has at least 5, which is very, very strange for a little non-important island, and possibly suggests that Portland was more important than we have been led to believe. So, yes, these guys. And Portland stone was used to build some very, very important buildings all over the world. And in fact, it was the Portland stonemasons that went and laid the cornerstone for Washington, D.C. So this lot were quite important in Masonic terms. Portland stone was also used to rebuild St Paul's Cathedral after the fire of London, as well as many, many other major, major buildings. Now, also, what people may not know about Portland is that Portland used to have 5 stone circles on the top of the island, and they formed a 5-pointed star. And it was a researcher, a local historian, an alternative researcher called Gary Biltcliffe, and he wrote an amazing book called Portland: The Sacred Isle. And I went to his book launch, and I also emailed him and was talking to him about this subject. Absolutely fascinating, and well worth checking Gary Biltcliffe and his work out. Anyway, so yes, so I've known for a while that Portland had these stone circles on top, and I thought that was kind of as far as the conspiracy on Portland went, and I thought that that is what they were trying to cover up. But I think this goes much, much deeper than that. Okay, here's another Mason, and he is doing the hidden hand signal. Sure, he's a fine, upstanding member of society as well. Right, okay, what we're looking at here is one of the Masons, this dude here. Let's go back. I think it is this one. And there he is, doing his hidden hand gesture, stood in the middle of a road in Easton. Now, what we have to ask ourselves, guys, is this is not a quarry, this is a road. So, why are the pre-cut masonry blocks in the middle of Easton? Just saying. I mean, come on, if anybody's got a good idea, please do let me know. But I don't think there should be pre-cut blocks in the middle of Easton. It's not a quarry, and I find this very suspicious indeed. Here is a picture of Portland Bill back in the day. Now, I can see very clear evidence of intelligent design here. I can see symmetry, horizontal and vertical lines. I can see what appear to be bricks, and these look identical to these pre-cut bits here. Just saying. Oh. So, this is what a site looks like, a deconstruction site, when you're pulling something down. Okay, this is just for clarification purposes of what one looks like. So you've got all this rubble here, you've got some little bits of masonry that are still square, but the majority is rubble, isn't it? Okay, all different sizes. Here we have one of the original quarries on Portland. Looks quite similar, doesn't it? However, a huge interest to me in this picture is that, as we can see here, there is a pre-existing wall, guys, okay? Say what you see, that's a wall that they're pulling down. So, and here to the left of the picture, we can see here that this is something they are deconstructing as well. Okay, now we need to think about something here. So, who quarried Portland initially? Who were they? Well, they were prisoners from the Verne prison doing life. So these guys did not discuss their day job with the outside world, and they also took their secrets to the grave with them. So they would be ideal candidates in this cover-up, wouldn't they? Now, what we're looking at here is I think it's an old photograph, not an old photograph, sorry, postcard. And just of interest in this one is that the blocks that they appear to be removing are of all different shapes and sizes. Now, there is no cutting equipment here. This is just the lifting and pulling equipment. And, okay, interesting. So, could this whole island be a star fort? Well, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say what I see here. Now we can clearly see and we know that there is a structure to the left hand side of this picture, and it's still there now. However, we can also clearly see that the structure goes all the way to the right hand side of this old photograph. So I don't think it's too much of a stretch of imagination to say that the whole of the island was in fact a structure. And one of these structures, a star fort. Okay, check out the corners and the edges on this. Check out how this thing looks. This is a corner on Portland. Very, very similar, wouldn't you say? Okay. Oh, and another corner, very, very similar to the picture I just showed you of the star fort. The inside of Portland. Okay, so we know that we've got these structures all the way in, but what do we really see? What do we see if we zoom in? We see, guys, that these are stone walls. They're not actual, some of them started to grow over the grass, but they are stone walls here, okay? So these ridges are stone walls that are being dismantled. An old picture of Portland, so an old building, and these ruins were all around the coast of Portland, and like I've said in my previous video, I think they were all part of one giant star fort. And we can see here what an old building on Portland would look like if it still stood today. Okay, now I really didn't want to do this, but I am going to make this absolutely idiot-proof. So, this here, what we're looking at is a sinkhole. Sinkholes happen when the ground underneath is hollow. That is a fact. That is not my fault. That's what happens. So, as we can see here, okay, this is an intelligent structure. This is man-made, and it is connected to this. That speaks for itself. Same on the other side of the picture, okay? Speaks for itself, guys. So, what we're looking at here, at the bottom of the picture, we see completely unnatural curvature. Here we can see obviously that there is a structure here, so these are not random stones, these are part of the structure. And if we zoom in here, right guys, that is not natural, and it's not my fault that that isn't natural, but it isn't. So there's that. Okay, right, the black goo forming in perfect squares, not natural, okay? And I'm going to make this really obvious. So we're getting perfect squares. This bit isn't quite as obvious as the bit to the far right. So, okay, so we have perfect squares missing here. So, either the reality in which we live in has changed and rocks now form in perfect square slabs and build themselves into walls, or what we have been told about the history of this island is incorrect. Now, I do have a theory that the star fort builders may just have used ancient stone, and when the geologists did the aging of Portland, they did it in a microcosm point of view, and they took a sample from some stone that was very, very old. And they were not looking at it in terms of it being an ancient structure. But just because the rock is millions of years old does not mean that the structure is. Okay, common sense, guys. Common sense. So, now to the very, very far left of this picture, there is what appears to be a snake symbol on the cliff edge there. Very, very high up. How did that get there? Now, can I point out, this is a part of Portland that you can only get to by boat, and this is nowhere near a quarry or anything. So, how did that happen? Okay. Here we have an aerial view of the sinkholes again, and this is all the way along this area of the coast that I'm talking about, and this happens when the ground underneath is hollow. That's just a fact, okay? So the ground underneath this is hollow. Okay. Right. You don't need to be a geologist, you don't need to be a historian, you just need to know what geometric shapes are. And these are squares, very, very obvious. So these, not only are these squares, but we have another perfect square rock that has fallen off. I'm not buying this, guys, I'm not. Okay, so, here, rocks with joins. Now, can I point out this is nowhere near a quarry, and even if it was, if it had fallen from the cliff, it would be damaged, wouldn't it? Okay. And here we have completely unnatural formation. And sinkholes again. And the structures on top being attached to the structures below. And you can see, look, this curves around here. Anyway, so. Right. Guys. So these did not fall from the top of the cliff, and this is not near a quarry, and it's part of the beach you can only get to via boat. Why is it raining perfectly symmetrical blocks? Not in nature, it doesn't happen like that. Unless our reality's changed. So if somebody can send me the link to our reality changing, then I will be quiet. Okay, so squares here to the far right, and this curve, totally unnatural. Right, the piste de resistance, guys, you can't deny this. So, this here, a brick still held by cement. Say what you see. Horizontal and vertical lines, perfectly even spacing, and a brick still held by cement. It is what it is. I'm really sorry. And to the right, we have the slabs there as well. So, okay. Here is an old picture. I think photo credits to Jeff Kirby. I found out that the ones with this watermark on it are his, so thank you very much for keeping such a brilliant archive of old photos. Right, here is a wall, okay, and in this area is the quarry. Intelligent design, intelligent design. I know it's a bit of an old picture, a bit flaky, so I'm going to show you a much, much better picture of what I'm talking about. Convicts at work in the quarries, indeed. Okay, so to the very bottom of this picture here, we see a pre-existing wall that they are dismantling. They've got their little ladder up against it. The only equipment we see in this picture is the lifting equipment. We see lots of different block sizes of masonry. Okay, so let's look at this row here, a pre-existing wall that they are dismantling. Oh, am I imagining it? Well, if we scroll right in, we can see that there is a wall here and a wall here, and it's all being dismantled by the convicts, guys. So it is what it is. I'm sorry. Oh. Here is an old picture of Weymouth, and this is our transport infrastructure. I mean, my God, Weymouth was like a metropolis back in the day, wasn't it? And this was used to ship all the Portland stone out to all the other big buildings that were being reset at that time. Oh, hold on. So now when I zoomed in on this photograph, guys, I noticed some very strange things. This is Weymouth. And I can see some very old buildings here that seem to have completely disappeared from our history. Now I can also see this is the Nove. Okay, follow it round. The Nove wasn't one big giant structure as well, was it? It couldn't be. This is a CFAS building at the Nove. So I think you can see that this appears to be built on a pre-existing structure, doesn't it? Okay, do not shoot the messenger. I'm just saying what I see. So I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video, and I will be back with more very, very soon.